Good afternoon and welcome to this quick video run through of a brand spanking new book in our trade. It's called Automotive Detailing in Detail. It is a pretty much unique publication in that it covers everything about detailing. This book goes from a nice light level of detail so that you can kind of thumb through it during a coffee break, right down into proper, quite specific, somewhat pedantic detail on certain topics, which frankly you can't get elsewhere. It's a proper book with decent authority behind it. It's written by Dom Colbeck of Dodo Juice and Waxstop fame, John Steele and David McLean. I just thought I'd give you a quick run through of what's in there because there is so much in this book. We can't cover it all, but I can give you just a sort of a taster of what's in here. So if we look at the chapters here, we've got a guide to setting up. So everything from the sort of environmental considerations, health and safety is covered. Exterior paintwork, exterior surfaces, wheels and tyres, underbody and engine bay, interior surfaces, detailing as a profession, which is really interesting, certainly from our point of view. A glossary of terms, which is excellent. If there's a term that you come across that you're not sure about, have a look in this glossary because it's going to be there. And then there's an index as well. So it's a proper professional book, this. So just as an example, it goes into exterior paintwork. Now this is full of photos, but it's also full of tables and diagrams. So here, for example, is one about how paint works, or the different layers of different types of paint, and also identifying the paint that you're working on and various different ways of doing it. So for example, here you've got colour transfer, which suggests you're dealing with a single stage paint. Then moving on, it's got a brilliant section on contaminant removal. So it goes through every sort of contaminant under the sun that you can imagine, from tree sap to adhesive residue and volcanic ash. It's page upon page of how to identify what it is and how to remove it. So again, really interesting article there. Then, for example, here it goes into detail about drying. Now, we've found a lot of damages done to paintwork by incorrect drying methods, and here it goes through everything from using DI water to blow dryers. So again, lots of different ideas, different ways of doing the same thing, because in detailing there's quite often more than one way to achieve something. Then we're moving on here to for example, waterless wash methods. So again, this is not a big part of detailing, but it's an element of it, and there's kind of a point that it's not technically waterless, but it is a skill nonetheless, and something one needs to be very careful with as well, because it's quite easy to cause damage if done incorrectly. So here we're moving on, we've got another diagram. This is, for example, how a clay bar works. It works against sort of bonded contaminants and takes them off, and again, if you don't do it properly, you can cause marring with clay quite easily, but there's all the detail here that you need to be able to have a go yourself and do it safely. So here's another section. This one is on more contaminant removal, but this is on specifically the removal side. The other bit was on identifying it. And again, it goes through in the sort of detail that somebody who's a proper enthusiast would appreciate. And again, lots of pictures, and the pictures are all good, so it's quite clear to see what the point is. So then the next section here, so here we get into paint correction. So this is pointing out this little diagram, the difference between diminishing and non-diminishing paint compound. Again, it's quite advanced stuff, but for anybody who's an enthusiast, this is the sort of thing one laps up. Here there's, for example, a photo of hard paint and the sort of marks that you're likely to see in hard paint as opposed to soft paint. So moving on, here is different polishing pads. So again, it talks about open cell structure, closed cell structure, all the different types of pads that are available, and there are many hundreds available out there. So again, it's a really, really useful guide. If you're looking to change your pad, you can read this, get an idea of what might be appropriate for you. As with all things when it comes to paint correction, it's all about finding the right combination for the specific car. And it's not just the pad, it's the machine, it's the compound you're using, it's a methodology that you're using. But again, this gives you the sort of background and in-depth knowledge that you need to be able to make better decisions. And again, it covers, for example, the different types of machines. So here we have a DA and then a rotary down the bottom. It even shows the difference here between the patterns of movement, if you like, of the pad on the different types of polishing machine. So here again, we've got a nice diagram. This one is a cross-section of what sort of defects in paint you can correct and what you can't. And again, another skill of a detailer is to be able to assess paintwork and say, that I can fix and this I can't fix. It's much better to be cautious rather than do irreparable damage and break through. So here, moving on, we've got, for example, a detail on a denibbing tool. So denibbing is used by professional detailers. It's a certain sort of skill. It's quite a specific skill. It's probably not particularly popular in the amateur field, but knowing that that thing exists, maybe you come across a circumstance where it would be necessary and you think, oh, actually, I'd like to learn about that and have a go. In which case, you know, this is a good place to start yet again. So moving through to the next section, here we're talking about LSPs and how different LSPs, last stage products, or last stage protection, depends which school you adhere to, how they work. So for example, how a wax will fill, whereas a ceramic coating won't. But then a ceramic coating has got greater durability than the wax. And it doesn't just say, these are the facts. It shows you, usually through means of photos and diagrams, why something is true. Which is what I really like about it. It gives you kind of greater insight than a simple sort of show and tell. And then it's got the final chapter is on detailing as a business. And again, this is, you know, if you're setting up your own detailing or valeting company, it goes into great detail about different types of insurance, about how to do financial management. It's just spotted here a van belonging to Dave Whitehouse of Ideal Valeting. And I believe there are various other pictures in here of our members as well, which is great to see. And then I thought I'd just show you at the end the glossary of terms. So here, literally page upon page of terms, all alphabetically arranged, all with decent explanations. They're not sort of just one-liners explaining the word. It explains more than just the term. So, for example, MOHS, unit of hardness. That's, you know, it's something that a detailer will know about, but you know, somebody who's new to the trade or new to the industry, so to speak, it's something that they won't know about necessarily. So again, very, very useful. And as I say, it's over 270 pages, 272, excluding cover. And it is a brilliant piece of kit. Now, it retails at £27.50. It comes out on the 3rd of April. However, we have negotiated a special little discount. So if you would like to pre-order your copy, it can be done on our website. The link is below. And you can save yourself a good few quid on that price. We hope to get them out kind of at the end of the week commencing 3rd of April. But if you have any questions, do feel free to comment here and we'll be more than happy to answer them if we can. Thank you very much.